Morning Britain, unacceptable and inexcusable. Straight Friends' assessment was that a joke said by some with their physical well-being when they make a joke. I think most comedians have complained that they worry about being cancelled, not about actually being hit.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing.
You know, if somebody makes a poor taste joke about the person that you most love, is that all right? For you to have suffered a loss, be punished. I mean, the LAPD say they're not pressing charges. Chris Rock isn't pressing charges. But there are questions about, because the Oscars and Hollywood are seen as role models, the Oscar ceremony is seen as a moment to make a point. Should he, for instance, have his Oscar removed? Should he do something more than just a public apology 24 hours on? I think that suggests that there's a sort of lingering question about what happened in the morning, which is so concerning, is because if you don't mind, I'll read a bit of your letter, because it's obviously public. Dear Will, I've been a huge fan of your work since I was a kid watching The Fresh Prince, and I've been moved to tears by your performances in movies like The Pursuit of Happiness and £7. That we all feel later, who also said she's spoken to him and says it didn't happen.
No, the US say no, it's on this case.
Is that somebody around Abramovich may have wanted to give the impression that he was so involved that he became a target of Russian hardliners, and that in some way aggrandizes his position in peace talks.
Because he's one of them.
Unfortunately, the Russians sometimes poison people.
I'm sure.
Somebody died in that attack. It happened, and has happened more than once in this country to you with symptoms like that, and you're the doctor. Then there is reporting of what's actually going to happen at the service. Because, of course, we don't know if the Queen's going to be able to attend. And there is this, as you say, this, or during the 2 years, the height of the pandemic, people would not have wanted to be in, expose themselves, who were vulnerable. And we know the Queen's vulnerable simply by dint of her age. What do we hear there? We know she's determined to be there.
I'd say it's 80.
In Westminster. Are we going to see Boris Johnson fined today?
Well,
Because there are people who were not able to be with family members who were dying because of laws introduced by his government, and outrageous.
He shouldn't have said it.
Alone, locally to where I live. And he couldn't be with, or his family couldn't be with him when he died in hospital, and they weren't able to go to his funeral in the numbers they would have gone to. Now, that family, I haven't spoken to them, I don't know, they are probably very concerned about the war in Ukraine. They will be living with a wound to their hearts that they could not be with that boy when he lost his life. And so, yes, the war in Ukraine is huge. But as a personal tragedy, how difficult the lockdown breaches at the top of government were to those who couldn't be together. This was a stunt.
Oh, no.
Some people are saying
because it slightly, didn't it? We knew about one winner, Will Smith, and his Oscar, but I felt sorry for the people because they got lost, didn't they?
Best documentary, wasn't it, as well, which is important.
It's just gone 6 o'clock. Welcome to yet another programme. So a fulsome apology, unqualified apology from Will overnight on Instagram. I bumped into a magistrate yesterday. And I said, down the shops, like you do.
Yeah. So your magistrate at a public event about the fact that his wife looks a little like the character G.I. Jane was
take into account, simply to take into account that he didn't just walk up to the guy and hit him for
might also wonder whether people in the audience could justify going up on stage and assaulting them because they feel like they were provoked.
Well, you see, it begs the question, what is a dangerous joke? Because if a comedian is dangerous, so they are, to some extent, taking a risk.
They're taking a risk.
But we've just seen what happens in the real world. This is what we were saying. So I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, no one's defending what he did. I'm certainly not defending what he did. But he's a human being. And under extraordinary pressures, of a kind that you and I have never gone through, like at the Oscars, to have his wife mocked because she has alopecia was just too much for him.
Well, I think what Whoopi Goldberg was alluding to there was that it wasn't just
an isolated
on the not that it wasn't an isolated incident. I don't think this has ever happened before, but that it wasn't the only comment that Will Smith and
they do take his Oscar away. It does beg a lot of questions about people like Harvey Weinstein. He's still got his Oscars. Gathering dust on a shelf somewhere.
Yes, there's a lot of bad behaviour in Hollywood.
No.
We're going to be discussing Will Smith's apology, what it means for him, with Kevin and Andrew. We're also going to be talking to an MP, Deanna Davison. Now, Deanna has written to Will Smith because her father was killed by a single punch. She has written saying that she's disappointed. Also invited Will Smith to come and talk to the all-party parliamentary group on one-punch assaults. For some people, this has, triggered some terrible memories. So we're going to talk to Deanna a little bit later on. First, though, here's Ranveer with the rest.